For one magical night during the most recent Te Tairāwhiti Arts Festival, Manutahi Hill in Ruatoria came to life with Te Ara Patupaiarehe.
I work in the community aspirations space, so I spend a lot of time communicating with locals about what their hopes and dreams are for the community that we live in, and that's along the coast. But for Ruatoria, it's about having spaces that we can engage with our families. We do a challenge called the Titirangi Challenge. It's a Gisborne challenge traditionally, but we've adapted it to our maunga, which is Manutahi Hill.
During the challenge, participants climb Manutahi Hill 68 times, equal to summiting Mount Everest. And it was on one of these walks Rawinia came up with the idea of creating Te Ara Patupaiarehe, recognising the legendary fairy folk of the forest to motivate and challenge participants.
Lots of us that do it are mamas, and so that means that we were taking our children up on what could be quite difficult long walks. And I kind of just thought it would be an opportunity to enhance our natural environment, create a space that would be engaging and interesting for our children, and ultimately make it easier for our mamas to get the exercise we need to get up the hill.
The exhibition was a collaboration between students and teachers of Te Kura Kaupapa Māori o Te Waiō Ngāti Porou, Hoya Gallery, Te Tairāwhiti Arts Festival and Ngāti Porou Whānui Trust, who own the hill.
Our brief really was to create some fairy doors, really just a kuaha mai te ao turehu o te ao wairua ki te ao tūturu. So from the spiritual world to the physical world. They've all looked at different kaupapa, and we try to encourage them to look at the elements, to look at our atua, to look at our things that come from the taiao, and also incorporate Māori design into their fairy doors so that they're quite unique.
Principal Philip Heaney was also eager to get on board with the kaupapa.
One of our queer, Queenie Moiho, she's been one who's always, I guess, composed songs, composed items about the Patupaiarehe. So when we heard that they were going to do a display, there's going to be a display taking place involving her stories, we were only too willing to get in behind her and help her bring the stories to life through our students' artwork and our staff's artwork. Conceptually, the thing that really, I guess, interests me is where people can come up with ideas and go through a process by which the ideas are brought to fruition.
All hands were on deck to get it done, students and staff using new technology to bring the project to life.
The students are reflections of their teachers, and so we sort of got two art teachers here who have come to grips with our new technology which we've been using, the laser cutter, to create the artworks. So it's given, I guess, another avenue for the creativity of staff and students, in which they can do things that they otherwise couldn't have done in other mediums.
The creative process started with students researching Māori arts forms such as whakairo, tāmoko, taniko and tukutuku. From there, one of the school founders was able to shed light on the significance of Patupaiarehe.
We had Nani Moiho come in to a kōrero. The first part of her kōrero was about Niwareka Mataora and how Niwareka was part tūrehu and Mataora was human. And so we have, that whakapapa, that connection, we're practically one. And so the kids understand more about that relationship, but also she went on to talk about the history of Patupaiarehe and this rohe, which we're quite well known for.
The students also drew inspiration from wharenui and pari in the marae. Once their drawings were complete, they used Adobe Illustrator to make the pictures digital.
The kids were able to digitise their pictures, just finding them the easiest way, trying to connect shapes, and they learnt that process, and from there we were able to create a cut file. Cut file goes to the laser cutter, and then we're able to import it into the laser cutter and just cut each layer. So we had to teach the kids about layers and how the layers work. You know, you've got a base layer that holds everything together, and then on top you can have a series of other layers, which they found it a bit hard to understand at first until we did an example woodcut, and they got more of an idea of how, you know, it's supposed to look and how it's going to be constructed in the end. And yeah, this is a nei ngā hua o era mahi.
Ko te whakamārama o tēnei, ko Māui, te mokomoko, e uru ana ki ngā kuha o Henenui te pō.
Ko tēnei takitaonga, ko te whakamārama mō takitaonga, e whakātu ana i te wānui a tāne. He ruru tēnei, i te mea ki ainei ko te kaitiaki o taku marae a Te Aura.
It was a lengthy but ultimately rewarding process for those involved.
Te kite i ngā hua o ngā mahi, o ngā tauira katoa.
Ko take tino mea ko te tā i runga i te rorohiko, nā te mea ka tae au te ako me pēhea te whakamahi i te pū manawa illustrator.
My personal ultimate aspiration for this project is that our people would feel worthy of the investment, that we can absolutely have arts and we can have arts festivals and we will celebrate and it will be well attended, and that we can have high calibre arts in a place like Ruatoria and our isolation isn't always a barrier.
The event was attended by over 600 people throughout the night and was funded by Te Pone Kōkiri, Toi Tū Tairāwhiti, Sport Gisborne Tairāwhiti and Trust Tairāwhiti. Renee Lola here, Local Focus.